Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the first episode of Tangent Talk. Now, here's our first episode, and what I want to get across is our podcast is going to be about random stuff about video games, mostly, and like some other stuff like news topics and all that stuff. I don't know, random shit. And I got three of my good friends here, and we're going to introduce ourselves one by one. Let's start off with you, Michael.
Hi, my name is Michael. I have a YouTube channel called The Pudgy Panda 96 if you ever watch my videos, which I doubt. And I just like talking, so I'm going to be really annoying on this podcast, so they're going to have to shut me up a lot.
Already plugging yourself. Okay, Michael, I see you. Plugging your channel. Okay, and then next we got, as I want to point out right now, we are the most diverse podcast because then we have our friend Arjun over here. Want to introduce yourself, buddy?
Thank you, Brandon. It's great to be here.
Arjun.
Okay, that was awkward. All right, Arjun, continue.
Yep. Yeah, no, I'm definitely excited to be here. I've never been on a podcast before, but it should be an experience.
That was so descriptive, man. I'm so proud of you. Okay.
Well, I can't plug myself.
Okay. Anyway, our third guest is Steven.
Okay. My name's Steven. I'm your basic white person. Average, always.
Okay.
The truth.
So, obviously, we're actually all the same age. We're 18 years old, and I don't know if that will appeal to our audience because I know a lot of the audience is around our age as well, and I know older people tend to get the audience going, but I think we have some experience in some things and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, our first topic, since we all like to play video games, obviously, I personally like the topic of the PlayStation Now, and I was talking about it before. I don't know. So the PlayStation Now is supposed to be a streaming service on the PS3, PS4, and I think you could do it on your like Vita or whatever. But no one buys a Vita, really, honestly. So you're supposed to have the ability to stream any like PS3 game onto your devices, but it could be extended onto PS4 games and stuff. Now, I want to know your thoughts on this service. Do you guys think it's a good idea, or?
I have one question right now. Is it like Twitch or no? You actually like play the game?
No, you play you have the ability to play the game. Obviously, I think you pay a monthly fee. Now, I don't know if that gets added on to PlayStation Plus or that's included in PlayStation Plus. I'm not entirely sure about that. There's a lot of what ifs, but I think the main thing is that you're able to. Whatever library of games they select, you're able to play on any of those devices. So, thoughts?
You know what? I would definitely get it because people like me, I just play single-player games. I play it in a week, and then I actually never play it again. So I feel like if I pay a monthly fee to play those games just once, I feel like I'd save a lot more money than actually buying full games.
Oh, Sony, when they first came out with the PS4, they said they were going to have like a form of backwards compatibility, and this is what they're trying to do with it. They're saying that instead of actually like putting in your PS3 game and actually just playing it like physically like that, but they're saying that you're going to stream it with this like the service, whether it be monthly fee or like a yearly subscription, or just like from what I've seen online that they might make you rent the game like $5 to play The Last of Us for like a week or something like that. Like they've already shown some of that like on the Vita and stuff, but my concern is the latency. Like when you're playing it, what's the latency going to be? Like the lag, like that could be a problem.
Well, I don't think latency is going to be a problem. I mean, look at services like Netflix. There's not really a huge problem with that. As long as your internet connection is not like Walmart status, then I don't think you're going to have a problem at all.
Yeah, I think you all guys bring up some good points, but I like what Steve was saying about how if you don't want to purchase like a $60 game to play single player, this would be a really good option. But I do know what Arjun's saying though, because like I think that was one of the problems that people like to talk about is how well the streaming is gonna work. Because obviously you're not streaming like a movie or a TV show, you're streaming a full game. So I don't know how smooth they'll be able to run that. So I don't know. It could go either way. I don't know.
Like playing like a single player.
I think the game is like going to be downloaded for like a certain amount of time. I don't think it's going to be streamed to your PS4.
No, I think the word they used was actually streamed.
Streaming, yeah.
Are you sure? Because
played off the server.
Google's our friend. Why not look at
Well,
it?
then there
Yep.
might be a lag problem there because I thought PlayStation Now was like you would download a game for
No.
a certain amount of time for like a week. Like you rent the game for a week, it's there, and then after a week, it's gone.
No, you're
that's-
playing it off
Okay.
the server.
Here's a description. PlayStation Now offers the first ever streaming game service on consoles powered by our exclusive advanced cloud-based technology. Gamers can now play the same way. They stream TV, movies, and music instantly. So obviously you're streaming the game.
I just read that. Yeah, there's probably going to be a lag problem, and if there's not a lag problem, there would most likely be like a whole graphics problem because it's like kind of like Netflix. How I first start a movie, it's like really crappy quality, and then it sometimes gets a lot better. I feel like that would be kind of true with PlayStation Now. Like you might not get the full quality of the game while playing.
So I kind of want to like any more thoughts on this? Like,
Well, I just want to say, like, here's the thing. Sony knew that backwards compatibility, like, they knew when they first made the console that they weren't going to have backwards compatibility because they knew they were going to launch this. If you think about it, like, say, Arjun, for example, loves The Last of Us, right?
Oh yeah.
So, say he wanted to stream it on the PS4, he would still have to pay more money, even though he already owns The Last of Us. So Sony, instead of making it so you didn't have to pay any money, they made it so you had to pay money. So it's really an ingenious way of getting an exponential amount of money. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I was just
as
about
a company,
I was just about to move
ridiculous.
to that point. Actually, I was gonna get it off the PlayStation Now and more toward the backwards compatibility. I don't see why they just don't do that. Because obviously it's probably not hard to integrate that kind of technology into the system, just putting backwards compatibility in. And obviously it just seems like a big money grab, and I don't enjoy why consoles don't just put backwards compatible games in.
Oh yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is a money grab. Like they could have done that, but Sony and Microsoft, it's all about the money, and they want to sell PS3s even though they're brand new console and stuff. Like the PS4 is out. That's what they want.
Called collusion.
I get that, but I mean, wouldn't they still be making money if they just sold the PS3 games as well? Like,
Well,
sorry.
yeah. Well, yes, they'd still be making money, but they wouldn't be making as much money because a lot of people, now that the PS3 was out for like 6 years or something, so most of the games that people are that were going to be sold are already sold. So they're going to sell a lot less PS3 games now that PS4 is out. But doing it like this means that they can make more money. Because at the end of the day, like, a company is there to make money. And, I don't blame them, but at the same time, it's like, it's kind of like a big middle finger to gamers,
Yeah. Especially if you're like selling your PS3 to get the money for your PS4, and now you have like all these games which are basically useless. Like you really can't do anything with them now.
I mean,
You can always sell them.
I think a really good way for like a console to be able to like a big selling point could be backwards compatibility, because I'd probably buy a console if they had backwards compatibility. I mean, that's a really cool feature, especially with the first PS3s they made. They were backwards compatible with PS2 games.
PS2,
I remember.
yeah.
But then they took it away because they're like, wow, this isn't a good
shit.
This isn't a good business we're running right now.
Not a good marketing strategy.
I mean, obviously they still sell a lot of consoles, but especially especially now when the consoles first launched, there's not a lot of games that are out. So I mean, having that feature would be really nice, but
It would only be nice for the first year, and then after that, it would just be pointless. That's exactly what happened with the PS3.
I guess.
no, I could see that, but I mean, if you still own PS2 games and you wanted to play them once in a while, you don't want to set up a whole console just to play one game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's a pain in the ass. I'm unplugging all the wires, gotta unplug my HDMI, and I'll set up my PS2 just so I can play Star Wars Battlefront.
Well, Arjun, you're just kind of lazy, but,
I am
it's
very
okay.
lazy. Yeah.
Well, like I said, at the end of the day, it's just about making money. I think Sony did a fantastic job with money-making schemes, although them as a company is kind of shitty because they're not making a lot of money. They're kind of like losing a lot of money. But their gaming department is doing pretty good.
I think they're making a good amount of money. I mean, obviously they're selling the console at a loss. I don't know. No, I don't think it's a loss. I think it's like exactly what it is.
Yeah.
But they definitely sold a lot more units than Xbox. I'm not saying it's better, but I'm just saying it sold a lot more.
No, no, like their gaming department's doing good, but the Sony as a company is doing
Oh well, yeah,
absolutely
that's
horrendous.
true. Yeah, you're right. You're probably right about that.
Yeah.
Talking about PS3, I don't know where mine is.
And
Okay.
and we care why?
He wants to go play some
It's
PS2
not.
games because of its backwards compatibility, yo.
Right.
The
The thing that makes me
just-
mad though is that they're still making PS3 games even though like the PS4 is out. Like a lot of these games that came out, I would love to play them, but they're on PS3 like South Park Stick of Truth. That game looks great, and I'm not even a South Park fan. I would totally play that if it was on PS4. And same thing like Gran Turismo. Game came out on PS3. I'm like, well, not gonna get that.
Well, once again, it's about making money because if you look at the amount of people who have previous gen consoles and next gen consoles, more people still have previous gen.
Oh,
So, and the amount of work to making a next gen game, I'm assuming, like, because you have to put it on multiple platforms now, and you have to pay per platform that you put it on. So, like, again, once again, I'm assuming, I don't know exactly the facts, but I'm guessing that it costs less money to do that, and they would make more profit in the end because more people own that system.
Yeah, he's right. Because when I was looking at the PlayStation Now, they're doing a beta test soon, and they're doing it on the PS3 instead of the PS4. And one of the main points was, I mean, the PS3 has like a profit, like people playing it is like 78 million versus the PS4 who only has like 8 million. So it's obviously a like very confined group as of now, like because it just came out a couple months ago.
Mm-hmm. Wait till next Christmas.
Right?
Yeah.
Then I'll have all my PS4 games.
Or the price drop or something, you know.
So I just thought of this. So what do you think about the games that are actually coming out currently? Do you think they're up to par with next gen? Like, were you expecting these games? Like, are they living up to your expectation? Like all the games that have come out, or are you kind of like
Not really.
lackluster about most of the games?
They're pretty much rubbish.
Like, zero games have been interesting to you like so far.
Alright, there's this one game. It came out pretty recently. I'm sure you've heard of it. It's called Infamous Second Son. Now, that is a next-gen game. Now, that game would make a PS3 cry. That could not be done on a PS3. A lot of these games are mostly ports. If you look at, like, Assassin's Creed 4, right, Call of Duty, Thief, and stuff like that, all of these are being done on the previous gen. But Infamous, and I know Michael's going to bring up another game. These games are next gen. They cannot be done on previous gen,
Yeah.
and they look fantastic.
I know what game you're talking about. I mean, we're talking about Titanfall here, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, that game, it does look really impressive. Like, I think some of these games like are really like nice so far, but I think as we go on, we'll see much better games personally. But as of now, I mean, I have a PS4 personally, but I am impressed with Infamous. I mean,
yeah.
I feel like it could have been a little bit better. I mean, I really enjoy the game, but I could see why. Like, it's a really short game, obviously. So
yeah.
I think that's one of the main problems with it is I feel like most developers are going for just the look of the game, not about like how it plays.
Perfect
Now-
example of that is Killzone Shadowfall. I
Yeah.
like Killzone, but really what it was just
No.
showing off the power of the PS4 with the
No.
graphics and everything. The game
I-
looks amazing, but nothing about it is just like, wow, this is amazing. Like, this game is actually amazing. Just the graphics work.
Exactly. That's what I was like thinking. Like, what defines a good next gen game? Because really, the only difference between the two consoles, I mean, yeah, they have a little bit more power and stuff like that. But the main difference is the graphics. And personally, I don't care about graphics as much as like a lot of other people do. Like, Infamous looks fantastic. Like, I can say Infamous is probably one of the best looking games I've ever played in my entire life. But I have Titanfall as well, which is another next-gen game, and the gameplay, like the difference in gameplay, it's noticeable. Like, I feel like that's why I feel like certain next-gen games, although they look fantastic, they're not living up to the potential of what they can do with the system's new power.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Like, I think, like, not Titanfall and Infamous, I think it's not worth having a PS4 right now. Every other game's like besides those two, I feel like they're just the same as PS3 and Xbox games. I feel
Yeah,
like
pretty
there's
much.
no complete differences. Like, you could have got Assassin's Creed on those systems.
I wouldn't put it as
Sports games. But if you want to buy a new system, I feel like now and onwards would be better.
I wouldn't like put it as it's not worth it owning them. But I'm just saying like the games like obviously like developers haven't had that much time to like make a game on them because I mean it just came out. But I think it's worth owning one. And just as of
Oh,
now,
yeah.
like the game library isn't very expansive.
No, this is what is called a console launch, right? You're not going to get
Yeah.
that many games. Like, if you look at the PS3 console launch, there was hardly anything. They had a couple games that were alright, like Resistance, Fall of Man, stuff like that. Those were good, but then, like, they came out a couple months later, and they came out a game called Uncharted, and people were like, oh my god, this is next gen. But still, like, there aren't many games that are going to be coming out. Like, it's a console launch. You know what you're expecting. If you're going to buy it immediately, you're going to have to wait some time before the games start really coming out.
It's a good point. I mean,
Yeah.
especially like I think later in this year we'll be able to see some more like better games on these consoles. Like I know Watch Dogs is coming out like this spring. I think that'll be kind of cool what they can do with next gen. I don't know. Just overall, I just don't like the games aren't like that great.
No.
But I feel like they will be. I have hope for them.
Now, Arjun brought up a good point, actually. I do give Sony props with this launch because the PS3 launch was awful. I remember I got the PS3
Oh yeah,
for Christmas the first year it came out.
horrendous.
I had Call of Duty 3,
Yeah.
and that was it. And pretty much I didn't buy any PS3 games for a whole year because there was nothing out. Besides Resistance, which I was too young. Actually, my mom didn't want me getting it.
Nah.
So I didn't play any PS3 games. I ended up playing Crazy Taxi all the time and Star Wars Battlefront again.
Oh.
I
Best
mean,
game.
I do have to give
PS3.
Sony props because even though their launch to me wasn't that good, they still put out good games like Killzone, which like you guys like, and there actually was a Call of Duty, like a good Call of Duty this time, or decent, I should say. I mean, there was a big variety of games compared to the PS3.
In like their defense, though, I mean, it's really hard to get a developer to develop a game for a console that's in development. You know what I'm saying? Because like you have to like know the hardware and like architecture of the actual console before you can actually develop a game on it. So I mean, I think they did a good job so far with the launch, obviously, because I mean they have like a good selection of games so far. But I mean, you always want a good game. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not complaining, but I'm just saying like it would be nice to have like a game right now that's like really stand out. I mean, I can't speak for like Titanfall or something, but I know that's a pretty good game. I mean, I never played it, but
Actually, that actually brings up the topic, guys. This is do you think? Well, which system do you guys think is better, the Xbox One or the PS4?
I know me and Arjun are pretty PlayStation fanboy, yeah. And I know Mike's a little of an Xbox fanboy, so that I mean that gives us I want to say let me just let me just throw it out there and say they're basically equal. I mean, they're both like basically like performing the same actions. Like I know there's some like little stuff here and there that might be different. And there's like cool features on some. Like I know Mike was telling me about some of the features on Xbox One that are kind of cool. But I mean overall, I mean when it comes to gaming, they basically do the same job.
Yeah, well, I want to say that as far as saying what a system is better, that's completely arbitrary in the sense that people look for different things. Like, for example, the PS4 is better in the sense that its processor and its graphics card are far superior to the Xbox Ones in every way. And that's like saying it's not is just being retarded. So to say like that is something, it's stupid. But to say that, but then again, the Xbox One has more features. Like, once again, it has like it's a fact that it has more features, and yeah. So it comes down to really the games, and games are an opinion thing. PlayStation and Sony, as like you've seen with previous gen consoles, tend to focus on single player games and like those kind of things, which personally isn't my cup of tea. I'm a shooter kind of guy. I like multiplayer and stuff like that.
Bring that up.
Yeah, so that's why I prefer the Xbox One personally, but at the same time, Arjun here is a single player guy, and so
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, so that's why he prefers Sony, and it's really
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
I know what you're talking about, and I know PlayStation is trying to make a push toward more social gaming because they're doing all this kind of stuff where you've seen the advertisements, like how you want to share your moments, but I mean,
Oh, yeah.
obviously no one's gonna use that. I mean, let's be honest. And I know what Xbox One's going for, and they're really accomplishing what they were going for because they wanted to like take over the living room. Like they made their console called Xbox One because they wanted everything all in one console. I mean, they're definitely doing a good job with that, but I mean, sometimes people just want, I mean, I know this is a really big point for fanboys. I know, like PS4 is like a gaming console, like that's what they call it. I mean, because it's made for gaming and that's what it does good, you know.
Xbox One is that one machine that does everything, including gaming, while the Sony is like, yeah, we're for the gamers. And
I hate Microsoft's marketing strategy, like beyond belief, because
Yeah, that was a big.
all right,
Oh,
first
yeah.
of all right, let me just go off for a second. Well, I can understand that you want everything in one. You know, that's cool. Cable box is actually that was pretty cool for the Xbox 360. Personally, I don't have a Xbox One. I might soon. Who knows? But it is pretty cool to have a cable box and all that good stuff. Now, what I don't like is that every commercial I've seen for the Xbox One was only, well, not only, but for the most part, was only focused on all the cool stuff that can do, like, the Connect
features.
features, exactly, cable, Skype. Apparently you can Skype and play Xbox at the same time, and everything besides playing the game. Like there must have been like only a couple of seconds, like these games.
Mhm.
But again, what I feel like Microsoft should have did was commercials or whatever. I can easily get over that. But what they should have did was the Xbox One originally costed $500, correct? And then the PS4
It still
was
does.
$400. I feel like Microsoft should have sold an Xbox One for $400 without the Connect, because I feel like they got a broader audience of people to play instead of
Definitely.
with Connect. Because personally, I used to have a Connect with my Xbox 360. I barely used it. I know like they want to go off with the new voice command stuff, but I feel like it should be it shouldn't be mandatory for all Xbox owners to have one. That's just what
Yeah.
Okay,
Well-
so all right, I'll let you talk in a second. I just want to say we should probably if you guys want to move on to a new topic. I know this has been dragged out a while, but that's up to you guys. So
Wait,
Michael,
I just want
proceed.
to say one thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, first off, with the Kinect thing, I mean, the Kinect on the Xbox 360 wasn't as innovative as the one on the Xbox One. The voice commands are fantastic. I just wanted to say that, I don't let end of that. But as far as the reason they did that for marketing was, if you think about it, console gamers are usually very loyal to their original console. So the reason they didn't publicize gaming was because they thought, and this was a huge mistake on their part, they thought that the loyal gamers of Microsoft would stay with the Xbox. So they said, all right, we already got them, so now we want to market to everyone else. So when they marketed to everyone else, they got a lot of people's attention. Wow, that'd be cool to have in my living room and stuff. But they lost the gamers because they're like, you don't care about us anymore. And they thought that they would stay loyal, but they were wrong. That's the reason they marketed like that.
Yeah.
And then they copied Apple and stuff, and whatever.
Do you remember their E3 conference? It was absolutely atrocious. Where they're like, "All right, you can't do used games. Everything is digital. You have to do you have to check in every 24 hours." And people are like, "No." And then Sony's like, "Guess what, guys? You don't have to do any of that. You can trade games." And everyone's like, "All right, let's buy PS4," and that's what a lot of people did.
Yeah, I know what Mike's saying. I was definitely open to buying a different like an Xbox if I knew it was better. But since it was that bad and all that jazz, I mean, I ultimately went with PS4 because it was cheaper and it pretty much did the same thing. Okay, new topic.
Sure.
Okay, Arjun, pick a topic. Would you like to do is Batman a superhero or the plane crash? Which one?
Well, actually, let's talk about the plane first, because that's more of a current event than Batman.
So I have limited knowledge in this subject, so you guys can go ahead and talk about it. Give the background.
Right,
if any idiot wasn't like watching the news in the past 3 weeks, you would know that a Malaysian Airlines flight went down in the Indian Ocean or whatever. Like it would like pretty much the plane got lost. Like it
You
just
don't know
lost
if it went
connection. No one knows what happened to it. There's been many speculations about it, but pretty much no one knows where it is. And people think like a hijack, maybe it landed. No one knows. And
Yeah, some people think the pilots
much-
were involved. That's what
yeah,
some
like
people
what's
think.
your opinion on the topic?
Well, what do you mean by opinion? Do you mean like what do you think happened,
think-
or like
I
how do
think
you
he's
feel
like
about it?
I think he's like saying like, is it like a conspiracy or something like that?
Yeah,
And I
like,
mean, it's kind of easy to believe with something like this that it's
Yeah.
a conspiracy. Because I mean, how hard is it to find an airplane? I mean, it's a big hunk of metal that just randomly fell out of the
What do
sky.
you think happened to the plane? Let's just put it
All
that
right, my theory, it went down. Maybe there was a malfunction. Maybe it was a hijacking. It went down and crashed, and unfortunately, like everyone died, and that's really the end of it. And like the pieces that they're slowly
But-
being found, but that's really it.
But why do you think it's so hard to find them?
That
Well-
like they said they flipped off like the track, you know, the radar or whatever of the
Ex-
plane, so that's how they lost it. So that's one
Yeah,
like
exactly. So was that intentional or?
Well,
It
here's
could've
the
been.
thing that you need to take into account. Look at where it landed around there. Those are like, look at the countries around there. Like, Steven, correct me if I'm wrong. That's like China, Philippines, and all those stuff,
not
right?
the Philippines. It's like India, Vietnam.
It's the Indian Ocean.
Yeah.
Well, it used
Yeah.
to be the South. It was used to be the South China Sea,
hmm
but then they say it crashed in the Indian Ocean by like Bangladesh
Yeah.
and Thailand. And
exactly.
now it's over there. It's
Well, look at the countries that are there. They're not exactly our best of friends. And not only that, I mean, to put on the amount of radar or, like, the amount of search that they could
also
possibly
third world
do.
countries.
Yeah, well, it's like they don't want to give up what they can do because if they can, a lot of countries keep what they can do a secret because they don't want other countries knowing that they can do that because it could cause problems. So other countries are purposely holding back the search and purposely not searching as hard as they can because they don't want other people to see what they can possibly do.
And you're talking about the United States, of course, because apparently, well, we are all American here, but pretty much we have a technology like some sort of radar or sonar or whatever that can find a plane in an instant. I don't know what it's called, but according to sources, we have something like that, and we actually don't want to use it. So you're absolutely correct with that.
Yeah, because we don't want to show off like what we can do because other countries are gonna be like, fuck.
Yeah.
We don't want that.
Well,
I don't know if
Alright,
it's all because of that, but sorry, what were you saying?
Well, I think that's
alternate
why it's so hard.
theory, right? The plane
Mhm.
crash. The people survived. They got to an island,
And
and
it's
on the
lost. It's lost.
no. On the island is
Oh.
a Chinese guide with a bow and arrow.
Oh,
And-
Oh my god.
Yeah, and he shoots them, and then he trains them to be a badass archer, and yeah.
No, what happens is they land on the island and pretty much they survive, and then there's people called the others, and others like do shit, and pretty much the whole plot of Lost, and like everyone's dead. The end.
Shout out to Arrow.
All right,
Shout
well,
out to Arrow. Watch it Wednesday nights on CW.
CW,
Oh, I'm
8
missing.
o'clock.
so this brings
Sponsor.
up kind of brings up a good point. Like, how truthful do you think our government is with us? Because I know there's like some mysterious stuff that happens, like
Oh.
Area 51 and like
Like,
all that kind of stuff. Like,
Oh.
what do you? Well, how much do you think they really tell us? Like, did they tell us like 20% of the truth, or like,
I believe
Well,
it.
here's,
Michael?
well, yeah. Well, here's the thing. What a lot of people don't know, like it won't hurt them. You know, like when you
Mhm.
become the president,
Yeah.
you get what's called the talk, which is actually where like the name the talk came from for when you find out about like babies and shit. But anyway, I mean, when Bill Clinton received the talk when he became president, he threw up. What the talk is it's just, basically they debrief
Secret
you on
Service
exactly what's happening in the world. So I mean, I'm not saying that they keep a lot of things from us, but they definitely keep stuff from us. And
Oh.
it gets to a point where I guess I'm okay with it because if people found out, for all we know, it could cause mass hysteria.
it's accepted.
So
Ignorance
yeah, you
is
have
bliss.
to accept it.
Ignorance
yeah,
is
exactly,
bliss.
exactly.
Aliens.
If aliens
Yeah.
exist,
Aliens.
the government would know, and they would never tell us. So for all
Well-
we know, aliens could exist right now.
Well, I mean,
Aldrin came out and said that the aliens did
it's.
exist.
I mean, at this point, it's pretty like people think that aliens exist. I mean, it's hard to think that they don't. because if you really think about it, what makes us so special to be the only like intelligent life forms, you know?
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
No, aliens definitely exist.
So I mean, who knows? We may be enslaving them now.
Oh yeah.
Well, like I said, Buzz Aldrin literally came out and said aliens exist, and he described them and everything. So I mean, either he's crazy or like he's
That's
just
very well a theory right there. I
Right.
mean, so
I'm getting
I don't
some
know.
lag.
what? What was that?
I'm getting some lag with this connection.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well,
don't lag out. Don't be a bitch.
so you want to
What
talk about
happened with
superheroes
you?
now?
I know what Arjun does.
You don't have to. I mean, I'm like fighting. It's basically a debate, is what it is.
Well,
But
I mean, it's a good debate. I mean, a lot of people
okay,
probably it's probably like a good 50-50 debate. I mean, I could see why people vote for one
all
side
right,
and the other.
fine, let's do
So
it.
the argument here is for a superhero to be claimed a superhero, they have to have a superpower. Now, our friend Batman, he obviously fights crime. He's known, well, we might call him a vigilante, but some people don't think he's a superhero because he doesn't contain a superpower. Now, obviously, he has like his own comic and stuff, so that could be like cited as he is a superhero. But I don't know. That's up for public to decide. So what do you think? Batman's superhero, not a superhero?
All right, can I start out by saying that superhero is a common misnomer. Superhero does not necessarily mean that you have a superpower. It means you have like extraordinary capabilities, right? One of the first superheroes ever made, I forget his name, but it was like in 1939. He was a superhero, but he did not have any superpowers. His powers was like just like great knowledge. That's what it was. And if you look at Batman, right? He shares pretty much everything that other superheroes can do. He wears a costume, right? He's got a secret identity.
I
He's
can
got a
wear a
hidden.
costume.
No.
I
He's
can
got a
have
hidden
some
headquarters.
identity.
He has special equipment, right? He's like basically the leader of the Justice League, and the Justice League is a team of superheroes, right? And he can fight any one of these superheroes, which he's done before. He's fought Superman's ass, and he's kicked his ass, right? He's like the pinnacle of like the human condition. And like if you look at like the definition of Batman and the definition of superhero, Batman is a fictional character, a comic book superhero. And
Now,
then, all right, go ahead.
let me bring up the definition of superhero off of Wikipedia.
Okay.
A
Using
superhero
facts.
is a type of fictional stock character who has extraordinary talents or
Exactly.
superhuman powers and is
Extraordinary.
dedicating to protecting the public.
It said extraordinary
Now,
talent.
yeah. Now
Extraordinary
by
talent.
that definition, we could say Superman is a superhero. Sorry.
Even Batman.
Oh, okay.
Well,
I found a story about the one. It
okay.
was 1942. It was the Guardian who had no superpowers.
Okay,
Yeah.
I just want to say like I would consider like Batman a superhero, but like when it comes to like someone like Iron Man, I can't see why he's a superhero. I
He's
feel
a
like he has no
bitch-ass
he doesn't even have an extraordinary talent. His suit is what is his extraordinary talent.
It's his intellect. It's the same thing.
Like
with
I get that. Like it makes sense, but all in all, like what does he possess that like another person besides his intellect that someone else doesn't or couldn't?
The
Like if you
reactor
put
core that makes up his heart.
if you put like let's say Bruce Wayne in that suit, would he do better? Like wouldn't it be the same
Yes.
thing? So why is he even a superhero? Why can't it just be Iron Suit instead of Iron Man? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Or Iron Pants.
Iron Pants. Okay.
Iron Man? No, that's no.
No, you don't
But-
get it.
Like that game, like Flappy Bird, it's just hard to
Iron
tell.
Pants. Yeah, that's the harder version of it.
Okay,
Yeah.
Blake, what were you saying?
But to answer Brandon's question, I mean, like, if you want to, like, first off, if you want to be really, really technical about it, Iron Man in the comic books does, like, he puts part of his suit and it's, like, in his bone structure, so technically that is, like, a superpower.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a
The
cyborg.
reactor.
But, yeah, I mean, the reactor core that's in him, look at him in the movies, right? That shit that's in his heart, that's what powers the suit. No one else can do that, first of all. And, like, he's fought other people who've had the suit, like, who has had a similar suit, and he's won. So obviously he's able to use it better than anyone else. And I don't. I mean, a superhero, like, look at like, it says extraordinary talent. I think fighting crime and doing the good for people. I mean, I think that classifies him as a superhero. You know what I mean?
Fighting for truth and
Hmm.
justice, man. That
Exactly.
Well, I wasn't really trying to make the argument that he wasn't a superhero. I was more trying to make the argument as to like I get that he's like really talented in a suit, but isn't that because they wrote him that way? I mean, I feel
yeah.
like you could have just written in any other character like that. I just feel like nothing makes him like unique. I mean, obviously Tony Stark's Tony Stark because he's sexy, but I mean, I don't know. Overall, it's just I feel like
Well,
Iron Man doesn't do much for me.
they casted
Alright.
Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark,
That was
so in other
perfect.
words, that's like I mean, who Tony Stark himself, like Robert Downey Jr. is a superhero because he's like his superpower is being sexy. So I think it's fine.
What I what I personally loved is at the end of the Avengers when like I don't know like the fight was over and
Spoiler.
stuff. He
Mhm.
oh it's not a spoiler. There was like a scene like at the end where
2012, Steve.
yeah, well, it's not even like it doesn't even contribute to the story
Okay.
at all.
Yeah, it's
But
fine.
it was like Iron Man was like laying on the ground or whatever, and he was like, "Anybody
Uh,
want to get some shawarma?" I
Shawarma.
found that so funny. I found that
That was-
so funny.
That was fantastic.
He's just a fantastic character.
Yeah.
Have you ever had shawarma? Anybody?
Shawarma is so good.
It's pretty
that movie made me want to eat shawarma, and I had it like the following weekend, and it kicks ass.
May I
Wow.
ask what this is?
Okay, so I think Arjun would explain it better than me, so you go ahead, Arjun.
What's it called?
It's called.
Shawarma, it's like it's kind of like a pita sandwich. Like they put in like meats and stuff
Shawarma.
and vegetables. I really can. Like there's this place in town. It's called Ibby's Falafel.
Oh, it's
down
like
there.
a lot. Oh,
It's kind of like that, but
oh,
not exactly.
It's
Is it
like
Arabic, kinda.
it's like a Middle Eastern like.
It's like a
Yeah,
sandwich.
Arabic,
It's like
right?
a
It's
sandwich.
yeah, it's
right there.
Arabic. It's like a lot of different spices and stuff, and it just you like it's usually with chicken. You can get it with other food, as I think
Lamb,
beef,
turkey,
maybe
beef,
something like that.
yeah.
I don't know, but it's actually pretty surprisingly good. I very much enjoyed it.
It's awesome. It's so good. We should get it.
Do you know what? Do you know what kind of meat is in it? Is it like?
It's chicken.
be
Usually,
anything.
you can get
Like
the main one's chicken though.
Yeah.
I just like food.
Food is good.
Food is fantastic.
Good. And
Especially
you want
'cause
to
I'm-
end talking about food because I like food.
Mm.
I mean, I don't know if we want to have a whole conversation
About food.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Probably not. I mean, you could. I mean, it's theoretically. Food is an interesting topic, man. I mean,
Plus,
Well, I mean, everyone can relate, and everyone loves food, unless you're a bitch.
bitch logic. No.
Uh,
What? Are we going on to that segment, bitch
I,
logic?
It's logic. Let's go.
Steven, you go.
I feel like Michael would be very experienced in this field.
Oh,
So
Michael, talk about the time in psych class.
Which time in psych class? There's
The-
multiple times in psych class.
The
Every time.
50% one.
ooh,
Oh.
I like that. That's a good one.
All right, so I was in psychology, right? And we were learning about disorders and how they're passed on through a gene pool. And then homosexuality came up for a second based on like genes. And my teacher said that it turns out that statistically, if you're an identical twin, the other twin has a 50% chance of being gay. I mean, we don't know if it's genetics, but that's just how the statistic works. So this girl comes over and talks to her friend, just talking, and she's like, that made me so mad. I mean, you're always born with a 50% chance of being gay. And, like, I just don't understand. That doesn't even make sense. I mean, half the population would be gay. I don't
I mean-
think it's gay or something, but, like, I don't think half of us are gay. That would mean, like, 2 people in this call right now are gay.
Oh my
I mean,
god.
Arjun. Okay.
I think
Chill.
and I know it's like very stupid. It's very like ignorant to think that, but I can almost understand why someone would. Like I'm not defending that they would think that, but I can almost understand that because I feel like most of us think that there's a 50% chance for most things when we're like born, but it all like in the end there's like a dominant gene and there's a recessive gene. So I mean, it's not always true. Like the only actual 50% chance is like your gender, right? Am I wrong with
Yeah,
that?
that's the only 50% chance.
Yeah, that's it.
So I mean, I could almost understand it, but at the same time, it's just when you really think about it, it's just so dumb.
Yeah, well, I don't care. I think that's just the most ignorant statement I've ever heard in my entire life that she said. I mean, like
Yeah,
like I,
it's
like you if you're gay, like I don't hate gay people by any means. Go ahead, go get married. I don't care. But like to think that 50%, like, and then I tried to argue and I said that would mean half of us are gay. That wouldn't make sense. And the response was most people, like, no, very few people are fully straight. Most people always have a little bit of gay inside of them. And I'm like, what? Because I'm pretty sure, like, if I picture a giant dick in my head right now, I'm pretty sure I'm not getting an erection. Like,
You're pretty
right
sure,
now,
Mike.
I'm just, like, pretty soft. So,
Oh no.
okay. So
Steer us away, right
like they no. It's not really steering us away, but it's like on the same topic. I mean, I think like almost accepted now that we think that homosexuality comes from like it's like a genetic thing.
It's genetic, yeah.
So, but I think there is a population of people that
Choose.
to be gay. But how common do you actually think that is? Because I mean, I just can't see myself switching from one to the other. Like I don't know how someone would go about doing that.
well, I completely agree. Well, first off, with the whole genetic thing, you are born with a basic need to or want to reproduce. Like when you're born, that's like when you look at someone and you find them attractive, it's because you feel like they would be a suitable mate to have a child with. So technically, if you're gay, that means that part of your brain is either not developed or there's a chemical kind of imbalance. And I'm not saying that's a deficiency. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that, but it
Hmm.
is in the brain. And second, I do believe being gay is over. Like people like are not gay when they say they are. It's because it's the same reason as people who say they're depressed and when they're not. Being depressed or having anxiety is usually common in middle to upper class women, and it's like one of those things where if one of those people like says, "Oh, I'm depressed. Oh, I have anxiety," they get all the attention that they want. So it's the same thing with being gay. If they say they're gay, they're getting attention because they're different. Once again, I'm not saying that they're all faking, but at the same
Hmm.
time, I feel like people, because being gay has been such a accepted thing in society, and we talk about it so often, they realize, wow, if I'm gay, I'm different now, and I can be accepted just like all these other gay people. So that's why I feel like being sexually confused is a lot more common, especially among young teenagers. Because when you're a young teenager, you don't know your sexuality. Like it's not possible to like really think and be like, wow, I like this gender. You know what I mean?
Everybody has one gay moment.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest here. Who here hasn't had one gay thought or one gay dream? Let's be honest, right?
I mean, yeah, we obviously thought about it, but I mean, obviously, like, okay, let me ask you all a question. When's the first like, did you decide to be straight? Like, did you one day were like, I think I'm straight? Like, when was it?
Uh,
Did you decide that, or it just came naturally?
It came naturally for me.
I think it came naturally. I was just
Yeah,
like,
I
yep,
mean,
I want that.
I think we could all attest to that. I mean, I think it all came naturally to us. Like one day, it just like when we like like not sexually mature, but I mean, like when we got those kind of thoughts, we all were like, wow, girls. I mean, that's just because that's how we were like born that way. I mean, I think it's the same way for gay people. I don't think they like go up and decide like, oh hey, I'm gonna be gay. I like men
Exactly.
or women. I think it's just like it just you can't decide that kind of thing. It's such a natural like reaction. So I don't know. I just don't see why you could just switch over though. I mean, I could see
Exactly.
for the attention, but
Yeah.
I feel like if you're born a certain way, why would you want to change it?
Exactly. Like you know, like if you're gay, you know you're gay. If you're straight, you know you're straight. If you switch back and forth, then you're definitely doing it for attention.
So what do you think about bisexual people? Do you think that's a thing?
Um,
Or
Like that's a really hard topic to think about because as like if you look back at the biological sense that I was talking about before, like I don't see how the part of the brain that makes you want to be like, oh, I want to reproduce with that person, and the part of the brain that's like not really into that, like the chemical imbalance. I don't know. Maybe there's like a mixture,
I
but bisexuality, I feel like for especially for women, I feel like it's definitely um like overdone
I
because everyone likes a bisexual girl. It's just a fact.
I think in the end it's more like they they want to like be adventurous kind of, and then
Hmm.
in the end they want to like have like marry or have a relationship with the opposite sex just because they want to have like a family or something. I think that's what it really is. They just want to like experiment, basically. But
Mhm.
I could be totally wrong. I don't know.
You're open to new adventures.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like a lot of people have that gay like stage in college where they experiment with being gay once, but that doesn't mean you're gay. It just and doesn't really mean you're bisexual either. It just means that you had an experience like that. So sometimes girls do the same thing, except they have a lot more experiences than we do.
I think it's much easier for girls to, be more open to that kind of thing.
Exactly. Like I mean, if you see, okay, continue. Sorry.
No, sorry, you go.
I was just gonna say, like, if you see two girls and a guy like having a three-way, you're like, wow, that's pretty awesome. But if you see like two guys and a girl having a three-way, you're like, wow, that guy's gay. Like, it's
Well,
Not necessarily.
it depends because
well, it depends if they're Eiffel Tower,
if you're
of course.
if you are so let's scenario if the hottest girl in your school, work, whatever, comes up to you, it's like, hey, want to have sex, me, you, and like your friend, I do it pretty much.
Well, yeah, I would do it too.
I
but
think, yeah, I mean,
that's not what I meant though. I meant like the
Yeah.
guys were actually like fucking each other too, not just the
Oh,
girl.
okay.
No,
Yeah, obviously.
no. The
So,
moment, the moment your dick touches his butthole or your dick touches his dick, then it's gay.
Oh my god.
so does
No,
gay
actually, we'll see, but yeah,
So
continue. I know you were gonna say
does gay sex make you gay?
no.
I guess. I don't know.
Yes,
No,
it
no.
does.
No, it doesn't.
If you're talking
How?
Gay
about
sex does not make you gay. It's what you are that makes you gay.
Come on.
Does that make sense?
Oh,
I don't know if I want to
alright,
delve
okay.
deeper into this. I mean,
Okay, I'm going in deep. I'm going in hard. Alright.
He's about to go on a tangent, guys. Write it down.
Alright, ready? So, okay, Arjun, since you were a naysayer, right? So listen to this, right? If a guy is like wants to get into the porn industry, and he's a completely straight guy, a lot of times when guys go in the porn industry, they have to do gay porn first to get their name out there.
Yep.
Now, is the guy who's straight, completely likes woman, but has to fuck a guy just in order to get money and do his job, does that make him gay?
I guess in that situation where it's like really against his own will, then I would be like, all right, fine, yeah, you're not.
But it's not against his own will. Obviously.
Well, he wants to enter the industry, but
Well, yeah, but obviously he could theoretically get another job or something like that. But he wants to do that. He wants to do this. So I mean, obviously he doesn't want to do it, but he will do it just because he wants to get more money. So it's not like it's not like against his will, but he's going to do it.
I guess, yeah.
But why would you even want to be a male porn star?
I don't know. There's some weird people out there. There are some weird people out there.
They don't want to try to get another job. I mean,
Right.
obviously,
Maybe he has a 13-inch dick.
I mean, it doesn't seem like a hard job at all. You just fuck women all the
Like,
time.
what would your parents think? Like, oh yeah, you're a porn
Well, the
star.
parents
I feel like most porn stars they obviously probably didn't have much like parenting.
parentals, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, they could, and who knows? Maybe they'll accept it eventually. Because if you really think about it, I mean, your child will have sex eventually, but I mean, doing it for money like that, I feel like it's a little against my morals. But I mean, they're gonna have sex one way or another. I mean, they're making money from it, so.
It's completely consensual, so I don't care.
Yeah. I mean, if she's agreeing to it and nothing's like they're not getting raped or anything. I mean, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, Arjun, did I convince you that gay sex does not make you gay?
I suppose, yeah.
Exactly, good boy.
Thanks.
So we're around the 50-minute mark. We can end it now or have another topic. Up to you guys.
Actually, I have a
Yes?
decent topic. Mike might be the only one that knows about this.
Okay.
What do you guys think about the whole stock market being rigged?
Oh, I heard about that.
I haven't heard about that, so you
Yeah, that's why I was saying that Michael might be.
I'll look it up.
I'll explain it really fast in the simplest of terms.
It was on 60 Minutes last week.
Yeah. When you put in a bid, like to buy a stock, say you want to buy a stock at $10, what the way the data works is it goes to this one place first, then it goes to the place to buy the stock. So what these people are doing are they're making something that goes even faster. So when you go to buy the stock, you click buy, and then it goes to the place that it stops at for like a fraction of a second, but then they go faster than you to the place to buy it, and then set the bid at $10 and like 3 cents, and then you buy it at $10.03 without realizing it. So they just made a 3 cent profit, and they're doing this thousands, if not millions, of times. So they're making a lot of money off of this, which it's questionably moral because you're ripping people off. You're making people pay more. I mean, yes, it's only a few cents, but that stuff adds up after a while. You know what I mean? And as of right now, it's not illegal, but I believe that it should become illegal very soon.
Mike, have you seen The Wolf of Wall Street?
No, I have not.
You need to see that movie. That is just exactly what you're talking about. Leonardo
I mean-
DiCaprio's character, he does that.
I could see you're like ripping off people, but my gut reaction was like I didn't see much wrong with that. I mean,
The problem along with it, Brandon, is that you obviously.
you're
have
obviously
some
taking people's
money.
you're taking people's money without like them knowing. I mean, that's obviously wrong, but I mean, who's making the real profit off
The
that?
part
The
that's wrong
companies
is,
who are doing it.
Like
it
what
obviously
what companies?
some money to make these like machines that can like transfer the stocks and back fast. But the problem is that it's so easy for those like companies to do it that they just make a profit. They don't have to do anything. They can just sit back. So pretty much they're making money without doing anything.
Well, I mean, they made it something that no one else did, so I mean, whatever they
Well,
can.
Brandon, I mean, just imagine this. You buy something in the store, right? And it's exactly $5, say it's tax-free
Yeah.
for some bullshit reason. And then they charge you $5.03. Now, that may not make a difference to you, but say you buy a million things because just for some reason. And
Yeah,
at an extra 5 cents, you know what I mean? Like, that's a lot of money. It adds up a lot.
Yeah,
you know?
but in the same like realm, isn't tax like kind of doing the same thing?
Yeah, but tax, you're taking that out, and tax goes back to the people.
Yeah.
I mean, not
I mean,
necessarily ways
that's
that I
what we
agree with.
think.
Well, yeah, as I said, not necessarily a way that I agree with, but tax, at least you know what's happening. This, you don't know what's happening. People don't know it until after they
don't
click
tell you,
buy.
yeah.
I guess so. I guess that makes sense, but I don't
It's
know.
like adding a secret fee.
This is pretty much
I mean,
making
what-
the rich richer, Brandon.
Eh,
The people with $10 million like profit per year or the salary per year are going to be making $25 million per year.
I mean, they're
It's not-
cheating. I mean, they found a loophole, so I mean, obviously people are going to be angry about it, but I mean,
But it's borderline stealing.
I mean, you said it wasn't against the law, so I mean,
It's not
they're
against the law yet. They
well,
will
yeah.
put it
I mean,
against the law.
obviously, eventually you should make it against the law to steal money from people. That's obviously not right. But I mean, as of now, they found the loophole and they're exploiting it. That's usually what happens.
Oh yeah, no, I'm extremely proud of people for exploiting loopholes because that shows intelligence and that shows initiative. But I'm not
Yeah,
all about,
obviously.
because I mean the money that goes into these stock markets and stuff, that's like pension money, that's social security, like that's just a lot of shit, man. Like you don't mess with that money. That's important money.
Yeah. Like, I see what's wrong with it. I mean, but I mean, we all like to find loopholes and benefit off of it, obviously. Because I mean, like if someone's in school, they usually like to find a loophole with like grades and stuff. I mean,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
usually what happens.
Yeah, but the difference there is that loophole isn't causing anyone else any kind of suffering.
Yeah, you're right. I totally agree. I mean,
Yeah.
it's exactly like a video game. Like if someone's like cheating or something, I mean, if it's not harming anybody else, you go for it. But I mean, if it's like, let's say you like hack Call of Duty or something to get like a custom camo, like that's okay. You're not like making the gameplay any different or anything. You're just benefiting yourself. So I mean, it doesn't
Or
really.
put on danger close noob tubes.
Yeah.
But that's in the
Oh,
game
I-
already. I'm just saying, like if you like hack the game and it's not hurting anybody else, I don't see why it should be a problem.
Yeah, no. If they found a way to do this without taking money from people, I'd be completely down for it. In fact, I'd probably like consider participating if I could.
Oh,
But,
Michael.
but
Michael.
like, yeah, it's hurting people. I'm not about that.
Not about that life.
Not about the stealing life.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's wrong.
It is.
Okay, so we're about an hour in. You want to end the show here?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so that was our first episode of Tangent Talk. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Everybody want to say goodbye?
Bye.
Good night.
Bye.